Assalamu alaikum viewers. My name is Shafqat Ali and I am from Gomaluniversity Dikhan, and currently I am doing BS Honors English Literature and Linguistics, and I'm final year student. So as I promised, we have our guest Mr. Salman Ayaz, and let me introduce Mr. Salman Ayaz to you people. He is a lead trainer, entrepreneur, and research scholar in management sciences, and he has a vast experience in debate and business ideas. That's why I called him. He has 48 regional, provincial, and national awards to his name in debates as well as business idea competitions. And he has hosted and conducted more than 235 academic, co-curriculum, and cultural events. So he has a very diverse bio, and he has a professional experience with State Bank of Pakistan and Red Crescent Society and English biscuits manufacturers. And now, currently, he has his own startup called Impact, where he trains people in spoken English and confidence building. So he's doing well. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us, and we are really indebted to you, sir, that you gave us time, and we are your services for Gomelians are always appreciated, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Welcome
you
to.
very much. Thank you for having me, Shafqat. First of all, congratulations for starting this what you are doing right now, calling people and giving space for discussion, for interaction, for negotiation. I think this is something which is very important to know from each other's experience. So I'm humbly grateful, sincerely grateful to you for sharing your platform with me and considering me for that.
Thank you very much, sir. That's pleasure. So, how are you, and how is going your quarantine life, sir? Despite
Yes,
that,
it is uncertain. It was uncertain actually, but it proved to be very fruitful. Honestly speaking, I'm focusing on my research work. Some streams lines are on its way. I'm interacting with different people, learning from them, interacting with you right now. So learning some different things, unlearning many things. So it has been very fruitful so far. I must say.
I knew, sir, that a productive man like you will make it more productive. And as these days are vacant, so it's great opportunity for everyone. And so, shall we start from our topic?
Please go on.
So,
Go on.
our today's topic, sir, is debating. As you have a lot of experience in debate and speeches. That's why we called you. And our topic is art of declamation and how to deliver a winning speech or debate. So it's very interesting topic, and it is directly related to the study career of student. That's why we chose it. And as we are from English department, so it is generally for Gomelians and for Dikhan students, and especially for student of English department. And so let's start the topic. So my first point is as introductions that what are the most important elements for a speaker to have while appearing in front of public for speech or presentation. So have
That,
some
that, that
reflection on it.
that is very important question actually, because since we know that there is no compromise on the communication skills, there is no compromise. It is inevitable to say in these days that all the different aspects of communication, either it is written or speaking, listening, and writing, all are important. But to start with the speaking directly, I believe this is very important, because as a human being we interact with each other, we exchange our ideas, and when formally you are presenting yourself, your idea, your thought, or your opinion, and then there are different aspects to it. I'm not an expert on it, but I'll just share my humble opinion, my experience, the things which I share with my students, the reflections which I mean share with my students. So I'll be just sharing that. Um, uh, I mean, to start with, there are different studies on it as well, because since when I was delivering, when I was on podium, I must say that I was not that much into that research, aspects of it, to know about it, the significance, that what the body language is, what the voice quality is, how much impact is there of the words which you alter in front of your audience. So I believe some are very common things which we already know, and for speaking, we know that dressing professionally is very important. It must be in harmony with your what you are wearing and what you are altering, what you are speaking in front of your audience. So I mean, it is very, very easy to understand that dressing professionally is very important. Pronunciation, I mean, I must say that you should not become, I have seen in my career that students are copying someone else. They are copying the speakers. So one should go for the correct pronunciation instead of becoming a copycat of someone else. So very important. With that, I mean, practice is very important. The mirror talk, or you can say in front of your friends or your family members, where you can boost your confidence. I still remember, when I was preparing for my debates, for my speeches, my neighbor used to complain about my shouting, that he's shouting in his home, and we are hearing, and we're unable to sleep. I believe that a speaker should have that craziest person inside, a person who want to know, who want to practice, and who overcome his fears or anxieties. With that, there is a very interesting study which today I wanted to share with you. I got some notes with me as well, so to be more organized and timely in sharing these ideas with you. There is a study by Albert Meher Bain in 1971, where he claims that 55%. There is a tool which we share with our students in our training session. That is BVW. BVW. Very important. 55% is the B, 38% is the V, and 7% is the W. So what is B stands for? B is the body language. So
Body language.
55% impact of your face, your arm, the way you walk in your presentation, the gestures you make. 38% is the V, which stands for voice tone, your modulation, your pauses in your speech. Very important. And 7% is the word. I mean, the words which you are using has 7% impact in your speech on your audience. So this is a wonderful study by Albert Meher Bain in 1971. To start with, I mean, there are some positive and some negative expression in your facial, in your arm, in your feet and legs. So I must highlight these aspects of your speaking, because these are the psychological aspects which one should know before showing up on podium or in front of a group of people. For English speakers, to be more specific, some negative facial expression includes nervousness, dislike, stress, contempt. When you are in this sort of position, there is kind of furrowed forehead, a nose crinkle, the eyelid flutter, lips pursing, a jaw moving to the side, in front of a group of people, repeated touching of the nose or eyelids. So these are considered very, very negative. A small corner of the lip, raised, looking in a different direction while responding to someone. So I mean, these are negative expressions about your face, about that part of your body. And some positive facial expression include, for example, the consistent eye contact, the raised eyebrows, the POC head position, nodding in agreement, a head tilt to the side is a submissive signal, exposing the throat and neck. It conveys the inquisitiveness, or you can say the interest. To talk about some arms expression psychologically, that how impactful it is when you are interacting with your I mean, audience. So placing your arm behind the back, I mean, is a rigid stance of authority and wanting distance. Arm across the chest in any way is an expression of concern and threat. A noticeable freeze, stiffness, complete lack of arm movement is an attempt to conceal, to deflect or avoid attention. So very important for a speaker to consider all these things. Some positive arm expression includes, for example, arm at the waist, or are slightly tucked into pocket, with thumbs pointing forward in is an inquisitive and interesting stance. Arm rested across the belly. Belly button is a relaxed and open position, and it is always appreciated by your audience. Some negative hand expression to highlight is the fingers interlocked with palms pressed together conveys stress and concern. Nail biting, we do a lot of this stuff when we are nervous. It's a sign of insecurity and nervousness. Rubbing palms, we do like this together, shows doubt, stress, or the need for more information. So these are some general and some very common blunders which we actually make in our speech when we are in public. Some positive hand expressions, for example, hand stippling shows confidence and lack of threat. Palms showing conveys the agreement and rapport, to make. And negative legs and feet expressions include, so this is the last part of your body which is dominant especially in presentation. So we'll be including both presentation as well as debate or speech when you are in front of a group of people. So feet withdrawn from the front to beneath a chair is a distancing reaction that conveys discomfort, that you are not in a normal position. A shift from foot jiggling to foot kicking, front to back motion, is a disagreement sign or response to your audience. Feet locked behind your legs or rubbing hands on legs is a stress response and attempts to conceal your feelings. It is an attempt to just hide yourself inside yourself, but it is very evident to your audience. If someone's feet are pointed towards the door in that conference or in that August hall where you are delivering your speech, so that's exactly where that person wanted to head. This is a sign to understand. And some positive feet and leg expressions includes, for example, the foot forwarded position, body weight is shifted when to one hip, and the lead foot is pointed towards the speaker. So this is an expression of attraction and interest which you are taking. In seated position, for example, if you are sitting over there and you are communicating, we have seen this as in a panel discussion when you are interacting with your audience and sharing your opinion. So in seated position, legs uncrossed in a natural position, not overly spread apart, nor are the knees touching each other. So these are the positive sign which audience notes, and it has an impact. And according to Albert Meherbain in 1971, it is the 55% impact on your audience. To talk about the 38%, the voice tone, the modulation, or to say the pauses which we use, is very important. In that part, the challenges are partly determined by the speaker's experience. I'm not talking about the voice tone, the words which we utter actually. So the speaker's experience, his background, sometimes cultural influence, and existing habits of speaking, which includes your articulation, your pronunciation, dialect, or the tone or the pitch, and the projection which you are actually using for your words. So these are the signatures which needs a long term of practice for success and to have your forte in this capacity. To understand that how our listener actually hear us, there is a very beautiful phenomena in it, and That is like, for example, a voice or a vocal sound is made when a controlled air is being exhaled from the lungs. Yeah, passes over the vocal cords, causing a controlled vibration, and this vibrating air resonates in the body, body, chest cavity, your mouth, and the nasal passage. This The vibrating air causes a chain reaction with the air in the room. Okay, so the room air set in motion by the voice, and that is actually captured by your listener, by your audience. And after that, he make a judgment, or an opinion about you, that how you speak. So I mean, in voice tone, the articulation part is very important. To understand, different words are used for articulation, including diction and enunciation. Articulation is, for example, how well and correctly we form our vowels and consonants using our lips, jaw, tongue, and palate to form the sounds that are identified as speech. So articulation is very important for English speakers to interact with their audience. Number two, is pronunciation. Pronunciation is the proper articulation implied to a given word. Is That's word pronunciation. The pronunciation include how the vowels and consonants are actually produced, as well as which syllable is emphasized in your speech. So for that, I will highly recommend that a speaker, before showing up on podium, should look up a word and play in Google Dictionary, or somewhere to hear to the word and correct pronunciation. Number three, very important, accent, dialect, or regionalism. It has a significant impact in your speech. So you have to deal with it. Accent, to say, is a degree of prominence of the way syllables are spoken in words. Uh, so any speaker should be aware of how accent, your dialect, or the regionalism effects which you have in your speaking can be perceived by your given audience. So you need to pay extra attention. There is a difficulty in understanding your phrase or your accent from the side of the audience. It is very important. And number four in voice quality is I believe voice in voice tone is the voice quality, number four, which is also termed as tempo or the timbre. It is a distinctive sound which actually you make, and the texture of your sound, of your words, and that affects your audibility, as well as it affects the articulation as well. So you need to pay extra attention to this as well. Number five uh, is the pitch and inflection. It is very important that it is similar to and identical to the musical parlance as well. The pitch is the highness and the lowness of your voice. When a pitch is altered to convey a meaning, suppose, for instance, to raise the pitch at the end of your question, it is inflation. It is inflections and the inflection of variation, turns and slides in pitch to achieve the meaning of your message, or to achieve the meaning of your words. And number six, very important, is the pauses and vocalized pauses. Some pauses are appreciated and some are vocalized pauses. So we need to, as a speaker, we need to understand that what is the difference, and what is the significance of these terms. To read a Shafqat text, there is always a pause in it, punctuation, yeah, miniatures, landmarks to define the text. So when speaking, similarly, similar punctuation is needed for comprehension. Okay, and the speaker's responsibility is to offer that pauses, to offer that spaces, so the audience can better understand, and get the opportunity to understand the structure of speaker's sentences and the phrases or the paragraphs which he is using. It also gives an opportunity to the listener as well to digest some significant and crucial information as well. uh, Vocalized, as I mentioned earlier, is the vocalized or the fillers, vocalized pauses or the fillers. it is pauses that are filled with um um the etc. They are distracting, annoying. Always they are considered annoying and distracting, and give the impression of the lack of preparation if used excessively. So a speaker need to understand this thing as well. Vernacular phrases, these are very important. For example, when we say, I do use it in common communication, but yes, when you are in front of people for formal speech, then you need to be very careful about that. Vernacular phrases are, like, I mean, right, okay. So this show the lack of education, lack of concern for your audience, or lack of preparation. And last but not the least is the vocal projection. Vocal projection is very important. The volume produced by a vocal instrument, for instance, is projection. Voice the voice volume with good breathing and energy is necessary for a speaker to practice. So there is no need of shouting actually to on mic. You should be easily hearable. You should be easily heard by the farthest part of the audience. Even when the speaker or even if the speech is amplified with a microphone or sound system for your speech. So these are some important points. I believe every English speaker, budding speaker who want to be a good speaker, I believe from my experience and from the study which or the research I conducted, I have these reflections to share with all
Sir,
those speakers who wanted to speak there. Yeah.
sir, does this apply on Urdu speakers?
Um, I think yes. As far as language is concerned, then all these things are there in language. But since we were speaking on English speakers, so I'm focusing more on that. Yes, the pronunciation is there, the articulation is there, the pitch is there. When you listen to a poet, when you listen to, for example, Mir Taki Mir, when you
Yes.
listen to some, I got the book of Gulzar Sahib. Yeah, Gulzar Sahib, when you listen to them, so you feel the distinction. You feel that uh, you know uh, uh, timbre of distinction. When you know that this is something wonderful which is coming to your ears. So that connects you with that message. So I believe for any language it is important. The articulation, the accent, the dialect, the voice quality, the pitch and inflections, the pauses and the vocalized pauses, and the vocal projection, vernacular phrases to avoid to a maximum extent. I think these are very, very important to consider.
So, sir, you have well expressed in a very concise manner these elements of a speaker to use, and the speaking and the dressing and the uh, mirror talks. That certainly no one can focus on these small things. That mirror talks, you should do a mirror talks. That's very important to practice and to build your confidence. That yes, I can talk. And most important that you gave this example of BVW, that to use your body in a right position, and the voice should be okay, and the words that you articulate, those should be in a concise manner. And the view of listener, the unique thing you gave, uh, that you gave us the perspective from the listener, that we are speaking, we are a speaker, we don't know what they are thinking, what are their perspective about us, are we going right or not. So the view of listener is very important, which you gave. And so far you have discussed the vocals, and these vocals, that you should not use these obnoxious vocals, and the vernaculars presence, and after that vocal projection, that vocal volume should be not very aggressive or very low. So, and pronunciation, that you should use a good pronunciation. So, sir, our next question is that how much the accent is important. Like most of the speaker I have seen are who tries to use the native accent, like the native uses. So is this important? Is this make any difference? Does this
I
make?
believe, I had a program with Fahim Bangash. He's a English newscaster in PTV English. Um, and I'll be quoting him. He said that, correct pronunciation is more important instead of going for something which shows you a copycat. So originality in your speaking is very important for a speaker. Since you are showing up on stage for the first time, or maybe some people know that you can speak, but if there is any sort of a gut feeling which your audience can get that you are copying someone else, this is going to, harm your career in a drastic way, in a very disruptive way in coming days. So I believe originality is very important for a speaker, as well as uh, listening. I mean, we are not native speakers. We listen, we practice, and we can correct ourselves, improve ourselves by listening more. So for speaking, I mean, the golden rule is to listen more and to listen to a good speakers. So yes, coming to the accent part of it, I believe. Uh, you really don't need to sound like an American or an Australian or a person from UK. You should sound like how you are, but in a correct manner.
Yes, sir. So our next question is that most of the student faces, sir, how to control the fear of podium, sir. A lot of speaker want to appear on podium, but the fear of podium is that large. They are afraid that when they come and they forget everything. So how to control the fear of podium or the podium phobia?
It's very important, Shafqat. I used to enjoy the fear of podium, the fright of podium. To be very honest, I mean, if you learn the technique of transferring your nervous energy into enthusiasm, if you learn how to avoid your self doubt, the negative self talk, and shift focus from yourself, from your fright um, to your purpose, to the meaning which you are conveying, to the contribution which you are doing. For example, I used to talk about democracy, I used to talk about corruption, I used to talk about the rape cases, I used to talk about what is happening in the society in a very aggressive way, in a very very a straightforward way. So that was my style. I loved my style to contribute something in a way which I believe is my opinion from, yes, of course, research background, to conduct research on that and give the facts and figures in a very authentic way, in a very sound way. So I believe, stage phobia, or you to say stage fright, is something which you should enjoy. Practice is something which makes you perfect. I still remember that before showing up on podium, I used to practice my speech or the debate more than 50 times. As I mentioned
Okay.
earlier, that my neighbor used to complain, my family, that he's making a lot of shouting in the street for practicing his debate. So practice, number one, very important. Avoiding that self-doubt, negative self-talk is very important. Arriving early to that position where you are going to deliver, to that hall where you are delivering your speech, your idea. Think that you have a movement. Suppose you have a movement to show up, to share with your audience, and after that you will be coming back sitting with the same audience. So just give your 100% in that. So I believe when you focus is changed from yourself, or from your fright, or from the people, how they will be perceiving you, I believe then the ways opens up and you enjoy being on stage. So I still love showing up on stage, and I
Yes.
still feel that nervousness, I still feel that fright. uh, but this is exciting when you come up and show up and with new idea and new preparation. So I mean, there is so much energy in you, so vibrant, so vitality to share with your audience.
So you are still energetic to come those old days and come on
To be
podium
honest, yes,
again.
I that was something, to be a spotlight, to be the superstar, and to
Yes,
show up on in front of student. although they don't know that how many times we have practiced the content which we are actually delivering. So we are not an expert on that field.
Yes, sir.
But yes, it was a huge fun, I believe, and I have now transformed that thing into a training module. Now I'm interacting with students, with society, with the academia and corporate sector through trainings program, through entrepreneurship, through English pronunciation and English improving personality development programs. As you mentioned, in Impact, we are interacting with different lot of students.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so I love this is something which is inside of you. This is a passion you have, and when you change your passion to your profession, so I believe you are the person, ultimate happiest person on this planet Earth.
Well, sir. So, sir, what to do when a speaker forgets his speech? A lot of speakers have this problem that when they come on podium and they start, they forget their speech or at least a chunk of their speeches. So, how to manage this thing?
This is interesting. Actually, it happened to me a lot of time, and we have discussed when once you had your debate in Gomaluniversity, I believe we discussed about this point. I believe that your audience do not know your content.
Yes, sir.
Okay, they really do not know what is written on your page. They really do not know what you have been practicing for previous 1 month. um, so there is no need to worry about that you are
Yes,
not
sir.
delivering what you have remembered, or what you have practiced so far, or what you have written on your page. So very important. So just to realize that they are not they really do not have the information about your content. So forget that what they are listening. They will be listening, they will be appreciating if you do not stop. Very important. Do not stop. Keep the flow with related sentences. Keep the flow with related paragraphs. For English speakers specifically, I mean, you can carry on with your idea. For example, if I'm speaking about corruption, if I'm talking about democracy, I can even make 2 3 sentences or paragraph by myself. So when you are in front of a group of people on a stage, a podium, and you are interacting with your audience, and you forget your speech or your content, so I believe that you should just keep the flow. Go with related sentences, related paragraphs, or whatever is showing up in your head. Just share with your audience will definitely appreciate that. And this is what I have did so many times in my speech as well. I still remember that I've invented some sentences. I have invented some paragraphs in my speech. It was not a part of my speech, it was not a part of my debate, but I have invented them during that delivery time.
Very well, sir. So you have a lot of experience, and now you are sharing with our students and our juniors, sir. Very well, sir. And our next questions, a lot of students ask this that, and a lot of students make this mistake that they don't know and they don't never appeared on the podium or experience a mic. So how to use mic when you come on podium first time?
Yeah, I mean, first time, there is, I believe, you should arrive early when nobody is there in the hall. I used to do that technique, and to stand there and to imagine that everybody is sitting there listening to you, and even hooting on you, or even clapping for you. But just think that you are in that condition. We say that simulation. Do you know about the word simulation, Shafqat?
Simulation.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
simulation is a hypothot in a state, just you think with yourself hypothetical situation where you think that you are flying an aeroplane.
Okay,
So
sir. We call it
yeah, in
sololoquy
that
or
way.
monologue.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying, that before showing up on mic or on a stage, you have your mirror at your home. Practice in front of that. Think that everybody is listening to you. Everybody wants to know from you. So again, that self doubt, the negative self talk should be avoided, and to overcome that, I believe it becomes very exciting for you to share your thoughts and ideas with your audience.
Yes, sir. Very well. So these are the points that new novice speaker should notice while he coming on podium to use his mic very well expressed, sir. And sir, next our point is that many student faces, and I myself have faced much when I was new, and slowly and gradually with your guidance I control this fear that when you go up in speeches, when you go on the top, your voice go on the top, and you move to the aggressive nature. How to control and how to come down? You know that a lot of the speakers go high and don't come back to their actual voice. So how to cool down yourself?
Okay, to start with, I mean, it is important that on some stages, on some points, you need to go up. Actually, you really need to emphasize that much which is required. And I also faced this issue in my career as well. I used to be very, very aggressive. So I believe at some point you really need to go up, but it is an art of controlling your emotionality and rationality, controlling your, I mean, the emotional being and the content which you are delivering to your audience. I got some very excellent and wonderful suggestions and tips from teachers around the competitions in all Pakistan as well. There were some judges who gave me some suggestions. For example, one of them said that you should think that it is your responsibility to deliver the content 100% to your audience. So it is not you, it is your content which you are actually delivering. It is the written stuff which you have or the things which you have researched upon. You are sharing that thing with your audience. So consider this thing very importantly, that you don't need to actually express yourself that much that your content goes in back. So if your focus is there on your content, and you know that where to emphasize on your words, where to emphasize on specific occasion. For example, if I am expressing about a child has been raped, I cannot say child has been raped and people were very worried about that. This needs an expression. This needs that fire inside of you, to express that
Certainly.
a child has been raped. So what the nation is doing, so I mean, at some point you really need that aggression, you really need that emotionality to share with your audience. And again, as I said that 38% is the impact of your voice tone, the modulation, the pauses you are using, the aggression you are having in your words with relevant content. I have even seen some students making these blunders that their content was not that powerful, but their aggression was, to an
Very
extent which was unbearable and unlistenable for the audience. So it becomes very funny then, hitting the dice or making sounds, in a way which is even ununderstandable, which people even unable to comprehend in a way which should be which should be in an appropriate way. It should be delivered. So I believe, to sum up, the 38% of your voice tone or the 55% of the body language is very, very important. It should be in sync with the 7% impact of your words in your speech or in your content which you are sharing with your audience.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have delivered the minute details and told our viewers that's very much important, sir. They forget the minute details and focus on the bigger aspect, which is not that much important. So, minute details in your speeches matter, like the facial expressions, the hand expression, body expressions, the pronunciation, the wording, the practice, that how to be confident and how to practice your material in front of a mirror or in a monologue. So that are very much important that you have discussed, and these are the things that no one discusses when our juniors are novices asks, so they don't know, and you have discussed it very well. That's why we called you, that we know that you have that much expertise to educate our students. So sir, our next point is that has been asked a lot from me, that what is the difference between aggression and high voice? Like you said earlier, that their content is not that much powerful, but they go aggressive. So being aggressive and being using high vocals, is this any difference in this?
I
What
mean,
to use?
yes. I mean, it is important to understand that aggression is connected with the in speaking and specifically in this I mean scenario when you are on stage and using you know your speech for aggression is something your internal psychological condition or the emotional condition you have, and it should be relevant with the content which you are using. For example, saying that you know um, I don't want to be political at your show, but okay, if you want to say that for instance that uh, democracy is the best solution for Pakistan, suppose democracy is the best solution for, and no, if I shout and say in such a voice which is not even relevant and my audience is just shocked, okay, I get I can grab the attention of them by just being very aggressive, but at the end of the day it doesn't make any sense. Why you are being aggressive by saying that democracy is the best solution for Pakistan? You can even say in a more civilized and dignified way as well. So you don't need to do the drama stuff. I believe yes, drama is to some extent is important in your voice, in the modulation, in the voice quality. Yes, it is important, but not to that extent that even that even when it is not relevant, you are saying or delivering a sentence which is not even connected with emotionality, and you are making it so much emotional and being very aggressive about that. So I think this is not acceptable. And if judges have some caliber and have some experience, so they will mark you very negatively in that.
So that's very much important control. And so, sir, our main topic is the deliverance, how to deliver your speech, and not about written portions. So a lot of students are curious about the written portion. So if you like to share a chunk of this portion, as this is not our main topic, the written portion, but if you like to add some words.
Okay, for writing, we can have another session. We can interact about that. We can understand that there is no
Yes,
hard and fast rule for writing a debate, for writing a speech. I always have I always believe that there should be no formality actually in debating. There should be no rules for being going to two paragraphs or three paragraphs, and I think this is prevailing. Somebody go for 2 to 3 pages of paragraphs, lengthy paragraphs. I can share my own way of doing that. For example, I used to had 3 paragraphs, 3 pages, in which in the first part of the paragraph I used to introduce the topic. In the second, I used to give the relevant evidences or the research which I or the relevant cases. For example, if I'm talking about rape cases in Pakistan, so I used to mention the names and the occasion where it happened actually. And in the third, I used to generate hope or make a question mark or give an alarming tone to the audience. So this is a journal format. So yes, there are details to learn the technique and the art of debating. It needs a practice. I'm not an expert on that. I always say that I used to be a speaker, not a writer. So I'm just a very humble learner, you can say. Um, I believe that the most important thing is that there should be a higher aim than being on debater, getting some likes and some followers on Facebook, on Twitter, or somewhere else. The point which you are making should be researched by you. It should not be copied. It should have a bigger purpose than your debate. It
Right.
should not be just something that you are showering on the mic in front of the audience. It should have a bigger purpose. It should be something, a pain. It should be an anxiety. It should be a frustration of inside of you. A debater should be a debater in the daily routine life as well. The debate should be a part of his thought. Yeah, it should be something from inside of him. It should be a reflection of him. So to write a debate, I believe it is very important to understand that do not copy someone, do not go for something which is making you irrelevant and you are not even copying up with the delivery part of it. Go for something which you believe, which you trust on, which is your opinion, and dare to challenge that opinion and show in front of people, share with them, and face the consequences what you are going to get.
Yes, yes,
So yes, there are some topics which are very sensitive, but debater feels that you have to go for that, and to go for that, you need to be very honest with yourself. You need to be very brave with yourself. In fact, in many occasions, you cannot speak on everything in this country. There is not that much freedom rights, we believe. You cannot share your opinion on everything which you believe is right. So there are different parts to it. Going very frank with your debate, going very straightforward with your thoughts and sharing with your public can be dangerous and alarming for you as well in many times, especially in a country where like we are living. So
yes,
you
yes,
need to be very careful with that as well. I used to be very careless about that, sharing my thoughts. But
okay,
yes, with the passage of time, you become a little bit diplomatic. So to write a debate, I used my formula. My forte used to be the 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph used to be the introduction of the topic. The second used to be the by paragraph I mean a full page of a register,
yes.
and the second
There is
used
different
to be,
case for speeches.
yes, and the second part used to be the you know the evidence or the relevant unfortunate events which are happening in our country. There are so many examples, so to fill your page with that in your second paragraph. And the third paragraph used to be to generate hope, to say that okay, this is happening in our country, we are doing this, we are like this, but at the end of the day, I still hope that things will get better if we change for betterment, if we truly realize that Pakistan is made for some bigger purpose. If you truly realize that there are omens which are waiting for you to be righteous, to be on the right path, so things can change. So to generate hope at that and the end, or to give alarming tone that okay, yes, this is happening in our country. These are the issues. These are the rape cases. These are the child abduction. This is something hypocrisy which is happening in the society. So I'm alarming you. So just imagine that after 1 year or 2 year, what will happen to you? The
Yes,
international reports are saying that up to 2025 there will be a water shortage in our country. Yeah, so be prepared that what will happen to you. So this is an alarming tone. you know uh,
yes,
uh, International organization, UN and other reports are saying this, so this will happen to you, so be prepared for that. So this is an alarming tone. And the question mark that okay, for example, these are making a solution or giving the solution for the problem. So that was something which I used to do at the end of my debate, that okay, for example, this is the problem and this is the solution. So do you want to have this solution and practice this solution? After practicing the solution, you can get a good consequences.
and there is our question, sir. It's a good question, I think.
Okay, how to engage our audience early means we don't have to wait for question answer at the end to go for audience participation. I'm not getting this question. What Aliza
So
saying? How
she,
to engage?
I think she means during a speech or debate. Second portion is irrelative, I think. First portion is about this speeches
All
or
right,
debate.
maybe she's referring to a panelist. Aliza, if you can elaborate a little bit more, so we will be in a better position to understand what point you are trying to make. Um, how to engage your audience? It is again dependent on your practice, how much
Yes.
control and hold you have on your content, how much confidence you have on your content, how much you believe on your content. That's why I mentioned earlier that it should be something from the bottom of your heart. It should be something which is coming from inside of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
So when you present that thing, you don't really need awards for that, you don't really need appreciation for that, but you have made your point by showing up in front of audience and sharing your thought and your belief. I think in your capacity, this is the contribution which you are making. So to engage audience, it is important. If you are saying in a panel discussion, so it is again up to your knowledge and to your confidence, how much you have on your topic which you are
Yes,
sharing. So if you are unprepared in front of a group of people, you will be in a very difficult condition to face their question answer, or even to deliver your content. So number one, practice. Number two, confidence are your content, research. Um, Audience will be engaged automatically. You don't need to make any drama, do any drama for them to engage them. If you have a hold on your content, you can easily capture their attention.
yes, sir. So, although the writing portion wasn't our main topic, but you have well knitted in a very concise manner that you should not copy other speakers and you should be creative in yourself. That's how you improve your writing too, and you have to add that expressions and that valuable words and how to engage your audience by your writing material. So these are very important that you discussed it in your written portion, and this is a lot for us. And you discussed the minute details. I again focus on minute details that no one discusses these minute details that you have discussed with our audience. And these are the things that matter. A lot of judges mention these minute details that minute things matter, small things matters in speeches, in debates, but they don't elaborate that how they matters. And you did it very well in a very concise manner, in a very brevity. So I appreciate your efforts that you are making for our students, and you came over here. So thank you very much, sir, and thank you for your time. As it is up, and inshallah, we will be eagerly waiting for your next session with us on this platform. And our students like you very much, and they told us that please. We are English literature students, and we need to be debaters, and we need some expert. And they recommended me your name, that you should call him, and that's why I personally know you. That you are very much have very much experience in this field, and you can convey it in a very concise manner.
Shafqat, before it goes too much, I mean, I'm a humble reader, I'm a humble learner, I'm a humble student. I'm really not an expert. Since I'm interacting with people, when I learn from them, so then I realize that we are just कीड़े मकोड़े जो कि कुछ वक्त गुजरेंगे और उसके बाद we will be swept away from this earth. So I'm a humble reader, learner. I'm really not an expert. I'm just sharing my own opinion, which is based on my experience and the things which I share with my audience, of course. If they are appreciating, as you are saying, I'm not sure if they are appreciating, but if you are saying that, I'm honestly grateful, sincerely grateful for that. I love to interact with people. I love to know from them. I love to listen from them and to learn from them. Again, I will be just suggesting that 55% is the body language. It is not only in speech and presentation, it is your journal communication as well. I missed this point. Journal communication as well. If you want to improve your any language, consider it Urdu or English. So 55% the body language, 38% is the voice tone, and 7% is the words which you are using. By Albert Meherbin, 1971 study. Go check the study, read it, research about it. Inshallah ta'ala, you will learn a lot. I'm eternally grateful for your chance and sharing your platform. Jazakumullah khairan. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll meet you again.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
sir.
Dana. Thank you, Aliza. Thank you, Muhammad Akib, and all your friends who are commenting and sharing and shouting their respect and love. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir. So we have discussed the most wanted topic from students, and I deliberately choose the language of medium to English because we need to improve our English communication. we need to improve our listening, we need to improve our speaking capabilities and writing as well. So I deliberately chose English language and the topic 2, art of declamation, because most of the Gomelians need to be debater. Why? Because they have to improve their English communication skills, English writing skills, especially for English department students and for my juniors. It's very much important to turn to this way to debating and to speaking. It's very much important, and to all Gomelians, it is very much important because they do presentations in their departments. So it is very much important and to build their confidence too. So I would recommend to my English literature students and to my department fellows that please do come this way, especially my juniors, and it will improve your writing skills. You will have pressure during your debates or presentation, and you will improve your writing too. And that's how we all learn. So thank you very much for joining us, and we are really thankful that you are watching us and you are giving your commendable feedback. Thank you very much. Stay blessed.